Every morning, the ship's environment projectors filter through their programming, waking me to a warming pseudo-salmon sunrise, but the steady ticking of the dormitory clock never fails to inform me just how cold the day is really gonna be. Surrounding me, 115 beds remain made and unslept in. The wardrobes concealed behind flat white wall panels cling to cotton skins never to be stepped back into. There's no dust or mess to tidy and clean in the same perpetual routine I silently amble through in a life now constructed of the same solitary days and the same abandoned hours. I drink from one cup, I eat from one plate, and I sleep in one bed, only to wake as one to the same imitation dawn before I get to start it all over again. Nothing in space changes. The dining hall is too big for one person. The control deck stands as a lonely hum of unmanned engines made useless with no destination left to travel towards. All the corridors are insufferably silent. Not one corner of the ship holds a reprieve from the loneliness that comes from being the only human left alive. The tagline to my favourite movie is, "In space no one can hear you scream," but I know how untrue that is now. Because when you've been up here alone for as long as I have, screams are the only things you can hear. Helen always loved Christmas. She said it was a time that gave people back a little of the childhood magic they needed after a year of burning out under an umbrella of adult responsibilities. And she said that the magic of Christmas could even save the most fragile of minds if you just opened up your heart and let it in. But there's no Christmas tree up here to help me do that. There are no lights other than those of stark white practicality installed under the Whitmore programming system. No sleigh bells back in silk-voiced troubadours. And there's no food that doesn't come from white, tasteless packets. There are no gifts to give or receive, no eggnog, carols or family, and there certainly ain't any magic to be found anywhere close by. It's the reason I saved the crate of whiskey I found in Captain Holloway's private chambers. Not just to close that umbrella of burdens now and again, but to help me forget the only day my friend ever truly lived for. The incident occurred 8 months, 5 days, 10 hours and 13 minutes ago, a Tuesday afternoon back home, where spring was breathing life back into the land and ushering feelings of new hope. I often wonder if people saw it coming, or if, like a power line knocked out by a storm, things just snapped from light to dark with no knowing. Up here though, up here I saw everything. The flash of the sun the moment the Indigo Explorer vessel released the fusion cells into its core. The swelling of its mass was like watching a time-lapse video of the first rose blooming after the frost. Only roses don't destroy entire galaxies once their petals unfurl. Every day since I have watched the planet I once called home hanging in the void of desolation. I monitor the earth with its surface scarred and lifeless, its ocean azure replaced with tides of crimson, and its rich emerald lands burnt to black. I watch the broiling rivers of lava cutting through it all, and I pray for any signs of life that might at some point come back. 8 months, 5 days, 10 hours and 13 minutes of the same thing. That was until last night, when my prayers were answered and I quickly learnt how much better off I was alone. The Natalia is an old ship and old bones have a way of creaking, but the knocking, that was different. 2 beats and gone. Not a struggling water pipe or trapped air in the filtration system. This wasn't coming from within the walls of the ship, but from the outside. Outside in the cold, empty hollow, where nothing can exist. I stood there in front of the airlock chamber, the screen to the outside showing stars and nothing more. Get a grip, Landers, I told myself, feeling like any grip I had on reality had been sucked out the shitter months ago. 8 months with nothing but your own thoughts to converse with it leaves its doubts in your mind over even the mundane things. Did I have powdered macaroni for dinner yesterday? Who was the arsehole who set the computer to always win at chess? Is wearing 2 different colour shoes without realising it a fashion statement? And is it possible for someone to knock on a door that's hanging in the vacuum of space? Most questions I could find the answer to. Yes, powdered macaroni was on the menu yesterday because it's the only fucking thing on the same fucking menu every night. Corporal Monroe was the chess whiz who set me up to be a loser, and there are no fashion statements in a floating box lost to everything. But that last one, shit man. There was no answer that meant I was anything other than insane. After staring at the monitor for close to 5 minutes, I was ready to chalk it all up to my mind not breaking, but just bending a little, preparing for the crack I knew would be inevitable. But then with the same purposeful beat came 2 more knocks. The intercom system broke out into a crackle, static surrounded by a gentle hiss of whispered words, distant and weak, human words. I spoke into the intercom, my voice quivering. Who's out there? The screen remained empty. Nobody there to give an answer. Houston, we have a problem, a really fucking big problem. The man you're pinning all hopes of finding life to is broken. His mind has been bent too far. Helen, is that you? Scrap that, Houston. It hasn't just broken, it's lying at his feet in 1,000 shards of what was. Give up all hope, Houston. You have a madman running things now. I don't know why I called out her name. I think maybe I was hoping for some of that magic Helen believed in to be real. The static crackled louder, and deep within it, like a signal from another desolate ship lost and untethered amongst the stars, came an answer that sounded like no, repeated 3 times before 2 more knocks echoed again through the airlock door. Hello? I said again into the intercom as I watched undisturbed stars on the monitor. Please show yourself. Nothing. I can't open the door until I get a visual on you, so please. 3 more no's hissed out. The echo of each one surrounded me, swimming off the metal walls in a drowning chorus. My head spinning. My heart a solid lump in my throat that pulsed a frantic rhythm up through my neck and into my skull. Each beat like a hammer landing on broken bone. A bright supernova of pain flared behind my eyes as I hovered a hand over the airlock release button, wavering between a decision. Someone was out there. Of that I was certain. It had to be, because I couldn't have gone completely wacko in the space of 3 minutes. Not unless I'd been trudging down the lonely loony path all this time, and this was just me coming to its end, walking into the happy, hazy, white padded delirium of blissful ignorance. Maybe, just maybe. I raised a hand to my face. The stubble on my chin felt as real as it did yesterday. I pinched the skin on my cheek too. Sting there felt real as well. But I still couldn't bring myself to push that button. Life, months after being wiped out, wouldn't just come knocking at my door like this, and I didn't want to face the truth of my loneliness and the madness that could have been my only companion. I drew Helen in my mind, her face all smiles and none of the agony I imagined she suffered at the end, when her flesh turned to tallow under the heat of a dying sun. Her lips moved in my mind, with the words drawn out so clearly across them I could practically hear her voice. "Open the door," she said with such kindness. "Open up. Just let the magic in." I dithered no more. I hit the button, sealing the door between me and the airlock and the chamber filled with fog. Something within it moved. swirling the cold air in thick spirals and giving me glimpses of colour. White as vivid as all depictions of heaven, followed by a red as bloody as the devil below. White, red, white, red. A revolving colour chart version of my mind. Good, bad, good, bad. I held my breath, clenched my arsehole tight and hit the decompression button, sucking away the fog. And then I realised how much of a mistake I had made. That repeated word, it had not been a declaration of unwillingness, but a phrase of jocular enchantment confused by circumstance. A phrase the people of Earth, had they not perished, would have recognised, inside their beliefs or not, for it was a commercial symbol. The sound of money turned into hope. However, that thing inside the chamber looked as far from hopeful as you could get. And when it opened its ruined, toothless mouth to gargle out its phrase again, blood bubbled out and ran down through the coarse white hairs of its beard, over the maroon suit covering its writhing body beneath, and dripped over fastened buttons glistening like polished coals. He'd taken a long time to find me up here, his journey arduous, but Helen was right. The magic of Christmas was real, and it was all there was now. So I followed my friend's advice. I opened up, and I let it in.
Access denied. Iris scan failed.